All right, so today we are changing the seatbelt assembly, the entire assembly, out of the McLaren 720S. I could not find a video on this, so I'm making one. I have the whole back of the car off right now, the service panel and the back window. You don't necessarily have to do this. It does make it a lot easier to get to stuff in here. The service panel does kind of butt up against those panels right there, and those are kind of nasty to take off. So, basically all you need to do to change out this whole belt assembly is, for one, you're going to be taking this panel off, which you can see it's still on that side. It's actually very simple. I have it just laid off to the side here, but this is the panel itself. You can see it's just pop clips. Basically all you're going to do is just grab the side of the panel and pull. You do want to pull like kind of, in unison all around it. Like, try to use two hands, pull both sides at the same time, the top and the bottom. That'll pop right out. This, you can just slide through the hole as you pull the panel out. And then I just kind of moved the panel off to the side so I could work in here in the meantime. The next thing you'll do after you get that off is take that panel off. That panel is pop clips, but it's very feisty. That thing right there, holy crap, you gotta put a lot of force to get that off. I found the easiest way to pull that panel off, which, by the way, it pulls up. Do not pull it out. You pull straight up on it. If you don't pull straight up, you're gonna mess it up, because you can see that there's clips over there. Those are pop clips. So basically what I did is I grabbed it right here, because after you get this panel off, you'll be able to put your hand under it. And I just, gently gave it some force and pushed up until it popped out. It does pop out pretty violent. It's kind of scary, but it's really not a big deal. Just so you can see what it looks like. These are the clips that you're popping out. So you have the 1-2 clips. And then honestly, I think that rubber ball thing was like what was holding it the most. So you pop that up, and then you're gonna have a decent amount of access here. You can just, now I'm a little different, so I just bent this up, this bracket up, so I have more room to get the assembly out. You don't have to do that, but I'm just gonna bend it back. No harm, no foul. It's actually very easy to bend. It's a very light piece of metal. And then the next thing you gotta do is take the seat out, which isn't bad. There's 2 bolts up in the front, one on each rail right here. Those are just, hex head, star head bolts. And then there's 2 on the back, the same spot. There's 1 electrical connector. You just pop it off. Very easy to pop that off. And then I will show you once I have the seat pulled out, and then we'll go from there. Want to cut this little part in. You do need to disconnect the battery. You do not want to mess with the seatbelt assembly without disconnecting that battery. Pop your frunk, pop your doors, disconnect the battery before you get started. You have the chair unseated. You just kind of like lift it up on its side like this under the door sill. There's going to be a 17 mil bolt right there. It has a little plastic cap. You just pop that off, and then you take that 17 mil off. You can see the electrical connector from earlier I mentioned, and then this will come off. That's what's bolted on over here, and then you can move on to the next part. So now on to the actual assembly itself. Now the chair's out of the way. I just threw all the bolts up there. Keep them close. So you're gonna have a couple bolts. So you got this big guy down here, which you can just move this out of the way. There's that guy. That's the one actually holding the assembly on. And then up here, you have this one-time use bolt up here. So we're gonna pop that one off. And then there is 1 electrical connector right there, which that's why you gotta have the battery disconnected. That's a tensioner signal. And if you do that with the battery out, have fun resetting your airbag light. The new assembly comes complete with the belt latch buckle, as well as a new one-time use bolt. So you have all that provided on your new assembly, assuming you got a McLaren assembly, which is actually not that expensive from the dealership. I highly recommend just going through the dealership and getting the MSO belts. Just to show this connector a little closer, so there's a tab right there that you push in on this side. There's also one on the other side, which is why I have this tool. So I'm just gonna put this in there. I'm gonna push up against it on that side. You could hear it click, and then I'm gonna grab the other side with my finger, pull it out. All right, so once you have those 2 bolts off, I actually ended up taking off these 2 bolts as well. and also the 110 mil, you do it through here, through the top right there. You get in there and you take that 10 mil out, just so this bracket can move around a bit, because as you saw, you know, it sits in there, and it was really, you know, you really had to finagle it to get it out. You kind of twist it and turn it a bit to get this big boy out of there. So it did make it a lot easier. I mean, it's just 3 bolts and it gives you some wiggle room, kind of lets that bend out a little bit. So I would recommend doing that. But now you got the whole belt assembly out. Some people take these bolts out and remove this little thing instead of having this flap around like this big piece, but I just kind of dealt with it and pushed it off to the side and stretched the belt out. But there you go. Now you got your assembly out. You're ready to put the new one in. And you do need to disassemble this to do that. All right, so to get your panel disconnected from your belt assembly, it's pretty easy. You just slide, that'll slide right through. The belt, you're gonna be like, yo, it doesn't fit. It does. Just kind of like turn it sideways as it goes through that little hole, and you'll be able to squeak it out of there. So just turn it sideways, pull it through, turn it, pull it all the way through. You'll be able to get it out, and then you're gonna put the new belt in exactly the same way. I will say getting in the car to put this panel back on is a lot easier. Like, just get in here with your seats out. It is very annoying to put this one back on. So kind of like put it up against it and then kind of pushed it up and angled it. Like kind of turned it this way towards the window and then pushed it down. And eventually I was able to get it to snap. It's definitely not easy to install that panel. So just kind of wiggle it around until it pops back in on the clips. You should be good. All right, and then this panel, you just hold it, you slide your belt buckle and your clip through it, and then you just kind of guide it onto here. It'll naturally sit on this line. It's pretty easy to line it up. And then you just give it some nice pushes. You gotta kind of give it a good push there till it clicks. And then also like get your hand in this little corner here and push there until you get 2 nice clicks in there. And then up next is the seat. So you're just gonna set the seat in there, and you're gonna wanna kind of have it angled so that you can get your belt back on. I'll show that in just a sec. All right, so now you just take your belt, make sure it's, you know, straight orientation, and put it through here. I'll finagle it through. And then after you get that through there, you want to take your retaining bolt and put that back on there and get it bolted down. After you do that, you throw your seat back in, do the floor, the 4 floor bolts. I will say those floor bolts are pretty nasty. If you have an Allen like L wrench that you can match this, I believe it's like a it's either a T40 or something. But if you can find this and a little Allen wrench, oh man, I know we typically don't like to use those, but that'll save your life. Otherwise, taking a 1/4 inch and putting a bit in it is pretty much the only way, because if you try to use a bit, it'll be just too long to have clearance under the seat. And if you do something shorter, it won't have enough length to get to the rail. So I found this was like the perfect length to get your hand up in there on those bolts. So hopefully that'll save you some trouble if you're taking your seats out, because it's rather annoying. And then once you're all done with that, hopefully you'll have some new colored seat belts. That's why I was doing this. And I couldn't find any information on how to do it. So hopefully this helps you put some colored seat belts in, because as you can see, even though that's such a subtle little thing, that's a huge difference in like the whole, you know, vibe of the interior. I absolutely love it. So I'm seeing it for the first time as I record it, as I step back and see my work. So pretty cool. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if it helps you out.